Hi there. So, we've all heard the phrase toxic masculinity. It's something the far left have pushed as part of their agenda. It's used as a political tool to say all men are innately dangerous. That means all men must change. It's one of the many issues they have weaponized to change society, an excuse to say society needs to be dismantled and rebuilt in their image, and here's proof. Now, one of the many contradictions is they say it's only men that must change and not women. Men should try to be less evil, which is something that the Gillette commercial said a few years ago and faced massive backlash for. So it says it wants equality for women in one breath, but then they are helpless victims at the hands of men the next. Which is it? Make up your mind. But the world now has seen with its own eyes toxic femininity. Because, yes, you guessed it, not all women are angels. Some can be very toxic, and that includes attractive blonde ones. Now, many are not above using violence, but women are more likely to use manipulation. Whereas men get into fistfights, women will use smears, rumours, reputation destruction. And many know that society sees it unacceptable for men to hit women. I've seen women physically attacking men, knowing that he won't be able to hit her back. Well, not without consequences. Now, I had a friend who split with his wife, and she ruthlessly used the kids as weapons to get back at him. Real nasty piece of work she was. Absolutely no thought for the kids as she stopped her dad seeing his own children. And that is just one example of how toxic women can be. And that is actually quite common. And make no mistake about it, here in the UK, the law will always side with the women and mothers in that instance. But on a good note now, all but a small group knows that both sexes can be incredibly toxic. And what has been really encouraging is a number of women and feminists who have spoken out about how toxic women can be. I was really surprised by that, and I have to say, pleasantly impressed. I was expecting everybody to come out and say, Amber is a woman, therefore she's an innocent victim. Johnny Depp is a man, therefore he must be the violent abuser. And it's clear to see that sections of society try to frame women as only victims by virtue of being women, and men as only abusers as by virtue of being born male. But it seems now that the vast majority of the public are obviously too smart to buy that crap. They will look at evidence and see what is before their own eyes before they deciding who is guilty or not. And for women, maybe that's because a lot of them have had experiences with a partner's ex, so they've been on the receiving end of toxic women and know all about it. Who knows? There is, however, the usual suspects who are absolutely raging mad that Johnny Depp has won. If it was up to them, there would have been no trial and he would have been found guilty from the off purely because he is a man. And what they've done is defined a list of victims and abusers determined by immutable characteristics. And depending on which group you belong to, you can either only be seen as a victim or an abuser. It just depends where you fall on that scale. So at the top of the scale of most evil abusers, we have the rich white men. Now, if you belong to that group, you could literally be stabbed to death and you will still be seen as an abuser in their eyes. And at the bottom is probably some maybe black trans woman. Now, if you belong to that group, you can literally go around stabbing people in the chest and robbing them, and you will still remain a victim. Because, again, your actions are irrelevant. Who you are is all that matters. And that's partly what they call identity politics and intersectionality. And that is why they're quiet on the issue of toxic femininity because it's useless and probably more important, detrimental to their political agenda. So they keep that zipped up. Some publications, however, are still pushing the agenda, saying how this sets a dangerous precedent and women will be scared to come forward. But what I'm seeing now is even their own readers have turned against them. So I never thought I'd see the day where left wing female Guardian readers are turning against the Guardian publication for some of the articles that it's been pumping out regarding this Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. But I'm impressed. I'm impressed. More power to them. Now, none of this detracts from the millions of women who are genuine victims of domestic abuse. It's merely to say that not all women are victims. Sometimes they can be the abusers.